Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome on the Culture News. My name is David Serero, and I have the pleasure to have over the phone a number one lady. She is absolutely amazing. She's a wonderful person, but guess what? She's most importantly a wonderful singer. Her name is Jan Daley, and I'm using my little accent to say Jan, but let me spell it for you. It's a Jan, Daley, D-A-L-E-Y. And she's a fantastic jazz singer, but she's way more than that. She's also an actress, a playwright. We're going to talk about all of her successes, but also her number one success is her brand new album called The Way of a Woman that has been placed number one in the Billboard as traditional jazz albums. And traditional is not even a good category because Jan is way beyond what is traditional because she loves to break barricades and frontiers. So she has released several albums, but we're going to talk about the brand new one that is called The Way of a Woman. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, please welcome the one and only, the fantastic singer, Jan Daley. How are you, Jan?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much, David, for having me on your show.
It is my pleasure, my honor. And I'm always scared, to say Jan or Jean or Jean, So
exactly.
Tell us for our audience so they can know it once for all, because don't rely on me for pronouncing something right.
So it's Jan, and it's Daley with a David. Same thing with a D. And
exactly.
It's
so
Jan
I'm
Daley,
very happy to have you over the phone. Everybody's running after you to try to get an interview, but I'm so lucky that I've been one of those lucky guys. So thank you so much. I love, by the way, the phrase that is on your website that is called "Where Words Fail, Music Speaks." This is so beautiful. I apologize in advance if I'm going to steal it from you. That's the thing I wanted to tell you.
Go ahead, because it is true, though. We wish everyone that's in the music industry wishes that somehow we could, win these wars and settle them through music. And I think that's what we try and do.
Yeah, and you're doing it very, very well. So we're going to cover of all the things that you've done. We're going to try to, because you do a lot of stuff. But for everybody that is on the show, even if this is the President of the United States, I always ask to people to introduce themselves. So I will really appreciate if you can tell us where you're from, where did you grow up, and also what brought you to become a singer.
Okay, sure. It's Jan Daley, and I was born and raised in California, Southern California, and now live in Los Angeles in a community called Hancock Park, which is one of the oldest communities in Los Angeles. And I love old things, and that's why I moved there, because we have the oldest buildings there. What brought me to music, it's hard to say, but at an early age, I found myself one day with my mom in a movie theater and watching Somewhere Over the Rainbow being sung by Judy Garland, and my mother tells me that I turned to her after she sang it and said, "That's what I want to do, Mommy."
Wow.
Yeah, so I think, a lot of us singers, it's planted at an early age, and it was with me.
Wow. Well, thank you for Judy Garland, and thank you to your beloved mom for taking you to the movies so we can have today such a prodigy around. So that's the number one thing.
You.
So, but from that, where did you go? Would you, by the way, consider yourself a jazz singer?
And the jazz singer has only really kind of come out in the last year. Mike Sutton from America Entertainment kind of got in touch with me about a year ago through the Grammy organization and said, "Why aren't you, in the jazz genre?" And I went, "I don't know," because I sing a lot of different types of songs. I write and I write more folky, almost country kind of songs. But when I sing them, they don't sound country because I have this kind of Broadway Streisand, Ella Fitzgerald.
It's called elegance, darling. It's called elegance. This is what you have, and this is what we see, in also the jazz. You made me think of a lot of great singers that definitely speaks to the ears of the audience. So now let's talk to the album, The Way of a Woman. Tell us how this album came together.
Well, I'm very proud of this album because 6 of the songs I've written, which includes, of course, Way of a Woman. And I kind of put the songs, we gathered these songs that I love. And 1 or 2 of them were written by Jack Siegel, who was my songwriting mentor. And he was the one. I really, I was in the midst of raising our daughter, and I thought, well, I would just write. There goes my, won't happen again. Anyway, I thought I would just write for other artists, and I kept bringing in songs, and finally Jack said to me, he said, what are you doing? You need to get back in the studio. So he was really instrumental in getting me back in the studio, and we recorded When Sunny Gets Blue, which is very famous, and More Love, and he's written things for Sinatra and so forth. And so he was kind of the person who got me back in the studio. And so, of course, I had to include When Sunny Gets Blue and More Love. And Crimea River was a friend of mine, Arthur Hamilton, who wrote a song that I had recorded really in my 20s that was nominated for Academy Award. And so I wanted to include songs like Skylark and these beautiful songs that I loved. But then Michael was saying, well, we really should put some of your songs in there. So it's a real combination. So it is jazz, and they put a jazz touch to some of my songs. But I think it reaches a wide variety of audiences.
Oh yeah, 200%. And you recorded one of my favorite songs, which we're going to play at the end of this interview. We're going to play a lot of your album, but there's one song that I really love. It's called God Bless the Child. It's such a beautiful song. Oh my God.
It is.
Just,
There's a great story about it. I don't know if you've heard it.
No, tell me.
Well, of course, Billie Holiday wrote it. And, she was always on drugs and coming to her mother for money to buy them. And one day she came and asked her mother for some more money, and her mother refused to give it to her this time. And she was so mad that she walked out. Before she slammed the door, she said to her mom, well, God bless a child that's got his own.
Oh,
and that's how it got.
Goodness. Wow.
That's how the titles got there, the root of the song.
Did you guys hear that? That's just amazing. Thank you so much, for telling us, all those stories. It's such a...
It's a great story from a great singer.
It's a beautiful song that I heard so many times, and, it's really, really beautiful song. So I know you love the stage. You definitely love to perform. And what is next for you? What is the next performance? When can we see you a little bit on the East Coast? Where are you performing? Because I look at your performances and release schedule on your website, and it's quite busy. But when are you performing around
in Los Angeles? Yeah, in Los Angeles, I'm going to be singing a new show I've been working on, which is Broadway Lights Up the Silver Screen, and it is songs that came from Broadway and went to the movies. And living on the West Coast, that's how I got my Broadway, was to watch them in the movies. And I don't think I went to New York until I was in my 20s. And so it's a show I've been working on, and hopefully I will have the album out by the time November 17th comes up, and I'm singing at the Wilshire Ebell Club, which is originally the first women's club of Los Angeles, and it's a beautiful venue, of course, in the 1920s era. And so I will do that, but now we're renaming the show to Broadway and All That Jazz because of all this amazing things that have happened in my jazz career. So some of the songs that are Broadway, we've put a little different twist, and I love to reinvent songs anyway. So we've got I've grown accustomed to His Face and Sound of Music that will be sung in a way different way, and still not savoring that beautiful song, but just tweaking it a little bit.
Yeah, and you work with a very important, legendary Motown producer and writer, Mr. Michael Sutton, who has like 2 decades of experience in the music industry, and, he was the producer and writer for Motown Records. So, all this music, the part of America's culture, it's part
exactly.
of it belongs to it, we definitely
we identify, yes. We identify
with
Motown, and I mean, a lot of us grew up hearing it, and now generations know it and have it played at their weddings and bar mitzvahs or whatever, and it's great working with Michael, and we really do have a lot of the same flavor and love for certain songs. So I look forward to doing
I hope
another
more albums with him.
Yes, oh yes, we definitely and in fact we were working on an album when we got all this interest from Way of a Woman and kind of had to stop that. But we're now working on a Christmas album, and that should be out also in November. So I'm really, really busy. This next month. Just did a photo shoot.
Voice. You have the perfect voice
you.
for the holidays, also, and it's this voice that makes you feel warm and make you feel, want to rejoice with your family. It's not, any voice that can do that. The voice must say such a beautiful story and personality, which you have, my dear Jan.
Well, so, thank you, and we will definitely send it to you because there's some really gems, and it is my favorite time of year. And there's some beautiful songs on it already.
No, we will play, all of a lot of your music from your most recent album, The Way of a Woman. So what is next for you? What are you going to do next before this holiday album?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty consumed with the holiday album and the Broadway album, but on my bucket list of things to do, there's a story of my parents, and my father was shot down after the war, and I never got to meet him.
Oh, wow.
And so at first I was going to do a one-woman show about it, and now everyone's thinking it should be a mini-series, possibly a movie. So, I've been writing on it for 3 years, and I surely hope that I could get that in the next year. So,
with love,
and
I hope you would play the part of your mother, because that would
yes, I guess I could.
because you're also a fantastic actress, and people need. I mean, now it's kind of changing so that people finally in 2017 have understood that a woman can be a singer and can be an actress and can write, and can write plays and direct movies and do things all at the same time.
Women, we are so very excited about this because there was such a, what we call a poo-poo, if you either you were a singer or an actress, you couldn't be both. And if you're a creative person, a lot of times you do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And, I know a lot of artists who are great actors, but also great singers. And Broadway has changed where the singing is just phenomenal. And it used to be mostly actors that were singing and not great singers, but I love it now.
As an actress, I know there are some important credits that you have. Can you tell us a little bit of them?
I've been very lucky. I think when you start out, you don't know any better, so you just figure that's the way it's going to go. But I've been able to work with Bruce Willis.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, just some phenomenal things. I was in Forrest Gump, which was really interesting because they used a clip, and of course I've worked with Bob Hope and all the great comics.
Wow.
That I was able to work with these people. I mean, like Anthony Quinn and Bob Hope and Crosby, just unbelievable people that I grew up watching. And of course now a friend of mine is Carol Burnett and Julie Andrews, and so it has been such a rewarding life and career, and was able to actually have a daughter and be a mommy, and us women, we multitask. So I worked with Peter Fonda and just incredible actors and actresses.
But you have a little a little style of a Jane Fonda at some extent. So, my dear Jen, before we start to say goodbye to each other, is there anything you want to tell us?
Yes. For everyone, and it doesn't matter what age you are or where you are in life, I can say truthfully that never give up. Never give up, because here I am kind of at my second stage of life, and all of this has happened, and I just, am so blessed. But, I think everybody has said, well, Jan, you never gave up. You just kept trying this and trying that. And, finally, you throw the egg or the spaghetti and whatever lands on the wall, and it did. And that's really my message, is that never give up. If you have a passion, keep working at it, and it will find you.
Exactly. Well, you found us, and we found you, which is already, good in itself, because your music is just pure happiness. I tell you, really, from the bottom of my heart. So, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, my name is David Serero. I had the pleasure to have today on iHeartRadio and iTunes Radio and Google Play, many other platforms where you can listen to this show, the very, very talented singer, Jan Daley. Let me spell it for you, Jan Daley, Daley. She has a great website, jandaley.com. You can purchase all her albums, but also her very new album called The Way of a Woman, which got elected #1 traditional jazz albums by the very serious Billboard. So these guys don't play around. So if they are nominating it, it means it's really, really cool. But if you listen to it, you'll be convinced without any of that. So please check her out, purchase her album. We're going to play the music. We're going to play God Bless the Child right after this interview. And what else we going to play? Let me choose two more. I'm going to play Cry Me a River. And I want to play, this one will let you decide after all, it's your album. Which one you want us to play?
Well, of course, Way of a Woman is different than the first two that you mentioned. So it might give them a scope of what the album is about.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm sure people will ask for more, and we will play your music, which won't be a pain at all, let me tell you. It's great music to listen to, rediscover new standards that, you thought I heard thousands of versions of Cry Me a River, but every time I listen to yours, it's like I'm rediscovering the song, and the arrangement and everything is just gorgeous. So, my dear Jan, thank you so much for being with us today.